Hello, hello, y'all. Happy Thursday. It's Thursday. It's the second day of the month, and I'm doing my end of month reflection. I was going to do this on Tuesday, and then I realized the month isn't over yet. Stuff can still happen. So, and then yesterday was just a lot with kids and Easter programs and haircuts. So today is the day we're doing it because tomorrow's probably going to be a rest day for us, hopefully. And my husband's out of town, so I'm also just wanting us to keep it as low key as possible so that I am not stressing, that I am not running behind a bunch of people, and that we look back on this weekend with fondness and not agitation. If you have never tuned into one of my lives before, I'm Brown Lightfoot Smith. I am a child of God. I am someone who is super passionate about helping women live and lead. I was about to say lead, but I'm putting live first. Live and lead from a place of overflow and not exhaustion. I'm really passionate about that because I have my claim to fame, which was passing out my car at 7 months pregnant with my oldest son, Jaden, who is going to be 9 this year. I'm about to have a 9-year-old. Help, 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 help. It's crazy. And I didn't know back then that this was going to put me on the path that I'm on now. I've done many things before this. I had a coaching company, I had a marketing agency. I've done a lot, but I will say that this business feels the most aligned of any business that I've ever run. It feels the most restful, which is not even me trying to have a play on words. I'm just truly like, I can show you all where I track my time. I use Toggle. I'll actually put that in the chat for anyone who wants to check it out. But I use Toggle, trying to make sure I have the URL correctly, to track my time. And it is just a game changer because I can see, oh, wow, I'm only working I can't even say 16 hours, y'all. Typically on even a full week, I'm working between 12 to 14 hours a day. I mean, a week, not even a day. So about how many hours is that? 3 hours a day, maybe. And that's with, I typically will work Monday through Thursday and I try to chill on Friday, or I try to give myself a 3-day weekend, whatever day that may fall on. So anyway, I'm super pumped about this evening or whenever it is that you're watching. If you do have my Freedom and Flow planner, this may be a great thing for you to just watch as you're doing your end of month reflection. Something I might share might be helpful for you. We are working in my Freedom and Flow planner. This is the 12-month version, but we do have 4-month versions that are really nice for people who maybe are just in a new season and like getting a whole year seems overwhelming. I actually have a friend who said that to me. She said, I just feel like this feels very digestible. 4 months feels digestible. And while I love the way that the 12-month looks, practically it can be kind of daunting for me to think about the full year. Now you have people like me who I didn't own a planner for maybe 3 or 4 years, just because with back-to-back pregnancies, I was like, what's the point? We're just here. We're just going to be pregnant and we're just going to have a baby. That's just going to be it. And so moving from that season of my life to this season where my husband and I are done having children, our family is complete, our family unit is complete. I like having this big, meaty journal. And I call it a journal, not just a planner, because it is very reflective. It's not designed for you to feel behind when you open it. My hope is that when people open it, they feel lighter, it feels expansive. And so I'm going to be sharing my end of month reflection questions. Feel free to use these for yourself in your favorite journal. And I'll also just be sharing some thoughts on what my goals were for the month, where I landed with those. I think I'm going to do a separate video that shares my monthly planning for the month of April, because April looks like it's going to be a good one. And I will say, this whole year has been a great year. I'm actually tripping over the fact that it's already April because last year felt like it moved at a snail's pace, not in a bad way, but just being, I feel like I had lived several lives and looked at my clock and was like, wait, it's only January 15th. So to be in the fourth month of this year already is crazy. But anyway, I am yapping. Let's get into these reflection questions. The first reflection question is: in what ways did I feel free this month? In what ways did I feel free this month? So feel free to drop your answer in the chat. You can put it in a piece on a piece of paper. If you have the Freedom and Flow planner, put it in your planner, right? I think for me in the month of March, I felt extremely free financially, which is a huge blessing. It is a huge win because for so many years I struggled with my mindset around finances. And I truly believe that that's why, even when I had a very profitable business, I did not leverage it the way that I could have. And this is back in 2022, 2023. I didn't leverage it the way that I could have because I was just kind of gobsmacked at the fact that people are paying me money for my things, right? And so praise God, I have been delivered from that mindset. I am happy to charge good pricing for the things that I offer, but it's also because I stand behind what it is that I offer. So that's going to be my answer for the first one. In the month of March, I felt free financially. All right, the next question is: when I think about the flow or lack thereof of my everyday life, what adjustments do I need to make? When I think about the flow or lack thereof of my everyday life, what adjustments do I need to make? Y'all, this house, and we rent, just FYI, but I feel like this past month has just shown me like I am ready for us to purchase our home. I am ready for us to have more space. Some of the things that I'm experiencing are just the stage of life that I'm in with having young children. Our daughter is 16 months, and throwing things on the ground is her favorite pastime. And I'm just like, ma'am, look, example, today I made some wild rice soup, except it wasn't wild, it was just white rice. So I made some white rice soup. And this little girl grabbed the bowl off the table and dumped it. Thankfully, I got to her before she poured it all out, but I was just like, why don't you want me to have a happy home? And so when I think about flow, I think that that is something that this house is, it's limited in its flow. You know, it's carried us through many seasons. When we moved into this house, we just had two children. Now we have four. And praise God, in terms of like bedroom space and all that, there's still enough room for all of us. But when I think about wanting to have like a quiet corner, wanting to be able to have a full office and not just this nook in my room, like I feel like that is an area that is lacking flow right now. Some of the cheat codes that I'm using are just hiring a housekeeper to come at least. I started out at once a month, and now I'm probably going to increase to bi-weekly because when she comes, my house feels just so much better. I feel like I'm constantly spring cleaning, and technically we're in spring, so it's fine. But I feel like I'm constantly spring cleaning because I'm like, this stuff has to get out of here. It's taking up space. So that would be the area where I feel like I'm not having a lot of flow right now. So I'm going to write that down. And if you're just jumping in, the question that I asked for this end of month reflection, the next one is: When I think about the flow or lack thereof of my everyday life, what adjustments do I need to make? So my adjustments are continuing to declutter, start saving up for a home so we can get up out of this one. um, and as far as L throwing stuff on the ground, I don't know. So if you have young children and you have some recommendations, please let me know. And I know you might be thinking, didn't you say you have four? I do. My boys were nothing like this. I ain't never seen this level of, I don't even know what you call a child, but yeah. So I'm writing that down, continuing to storage. I feel like it doesn't matter what size house that you have. I feel like I always hear people talking about the need for more storage space. You silly Adrian. Oh yeah, child. I put the kids to bed and they still here. I mean, I'm still up. I should be, but trust and believe, once I get off this stream, I'm going to bed. I told my husband, I said, listen, you're gonna text me and I'm gonna be asleep. So love you. But still text me, no, but I'm gonna be asleep. The question I just asked was when you think about the flow of this past month in your everyday life or the lack thereof, what adjustments do you need to make? And I know you have your planner, Adrian, so you should be able to put this in there. What else, shall? Okay, next question is in what areas of my life do I feel fulfilled? Where am I still searching for fulfillment? Now, this is a really great question, especially if you're in a season of transition, because at the beginning of the year, I wrote down that I felt like I felt fulfilled in every area except for my career. And I said, I feel like that's going to change as I prioritize more of my writing. Adrian just said that in the chat, streamlining priorities, right? Exactly. Like I wrote that down. I said, I feel like that's going to change as I prioritize my writing more. Prioritizing my writing also led to more speaking opportunities. And so I feel extremely fulfilled in my career right now, which is a huge blessing. So I don't really feel like there is an area where I am searching for fulfillment. And I don't think I ever would have thought I would see the day. Because a couple years ago, your sister was down bad, as they used to say in New Orleans when I lived there. So I am going to put, feel fulfilled in all areas of my life. Glory to God. We really do, Adrian. We do want that for everyone. I'm getting a little bit into the T of our TEA, not the T of my rest framework, which is track. How? But one of the things that I put for my goal for the month was that I wanted to make 1,500, I think, just from writing and speaking. And even though I didn't hit that goal, I did cut off a retainer client. That was like my last social media management client. And I was only about 300 to $400 short of the goal. So I'm like, that's good, hunty. And listen, if I could, I wish I could. Can you? Oh, y'all, we done messed up. Hey, Lindsay. Yes, enjoy, enjoy. Thanks for coming on, girl. Um, I'm going to share my screen with y'all because I feel like y'all just we're here. This is the fun of being live, right? I am in a group called the group chat, and Adrian knows we kind of like she's in my community called the Coin Crew, and we kind of swore off any extra communities. But I did join this one at the beginning of the year because it was like, hey, it's a founder group. You guys are gonna help me build it. And baby, that was music to my ears because I love that kind of thing, being in on a ground floor. But here's the beautiful thing that we did this past month. We made these goal dashboards, and Adrian will do this during co-working. I want to show y'all. But we did these goal dashboards. And when I tell y'all, shout out to AI, shout out to Lovable and Claude, because this is my goal dashboard. And I'm going to see why it's not refreshing. See, that's going to get on my nerves. Okay, well, I'm going to have to fix this later. Yep, it's not working. Irritating. Oh, wait, is it here? It's here. Okay. Let me share this tab. Apologies. Okay, so what I have three goals for the second quarter of this year. The first goal is to continue to have offer clarity and conversion. The second goal is to have a consistent income engine. And the third goal is to establish authority and visibility in this space of rest, wellness, all of that, right? The reason why I wanted to show this to y'all is because at the bottom of this, I have active offers, which the Restwell dashboard is coming up at the end of the month. Can't wait to tell y'all more about that. I have my leadership intensives, and then I have my rhythm reset, which I will drop a link to the chat for that in a second. But here's the thing that had me too geeked, and I actually need to update this because I made another sale today. TGC. No, it's not the third, it's the second. This allows me to view and update my income in real time, show me how many transactions I had for the quarter, and what my top offer is within my business. Bruh, when I tell you so good, it's so good. Did it? Oh, is it not showing you? Is it okay? It's showing you now. I was like, no, you're missing it. Yes, it's so good. Because if I had had this at the beginning with my business, especially when I was running my coaching company for moms who are building businesses from home, I could have saved so much time in knowing what things were actually driving my business forward and what things were just like cutesy fun, but I'm wasting time. And it took me going through the Goldman Sachs Black in Business program to realize that even though I spent so much time marketing to moms, in that particular year into 2023, they were not my highest paying client. I had a retainer client that was a credit union who was using my marketing services and marketing background. And I had some other business clients. And so my moms were only making up 1% of my income, y'all. 1%. But I didn't realize that because it's like I'm talking to them and we're in community and we're doing this, we're doing that. And I did not realize, no, honey, they're not paying you anything. And listen, if you know me, you know I love my mamas. I'm always gonna watch out for my mamas, but I could serve them without them being my main customer. So that's why I had to make that pivot, make that switch. Okay, let's just text and hang out, but we're not gonna do business. All right, we're better as friends. So this dashboard, I absolutely love it. I've been making updates to it in real time. And like I said, this has just been a really great and insightful thing in terms of knowing what's making the moving the needle forward in my business. And also, people talk a lot about failing fast. I feel like this gives me the opportunity to fail fast because if I see that I have an offer and I haven't sold even one of them, baby, then we got to go. I also love, because I'm a visual person, that it made these little icons for each of my income streams. So for the rhythm reset, it has this little reset symbol. for the planner sales, it has a journal. How cute, right? So it allows me to put what the offer was and then any kind of notes about it here, the description. So I've been putting typically the who referred me or how I came to know the connection, what the amount is, and then the date. And then you see it, I can also like toggle between to see, okay, this is how many I made of each one. So super excited to continue to use that because we are also in just the second day of the quarter. This is the, I've only updated this since earlier today. So I'm like, oh, I love it. I love being able to even see, oh man, the 5th was a great sales day, or, the 15th was awesome, or we had people getting in right before the rhythm reset started, which the rhythm reset is a live guided experience I'll be doing on Sunday, April 26th. So if this has been your vibe, you like to hang out, you like screen sharing and interaction and all of that, you will definitely love it. The goal for that is for anyone who's in a rebuilding season to be able to reset your pace, be able to recalibrate a few things, and to realign yourself with what it is that you're building. Because a lot of times we can be in these periods of transition and we just move from one thing to the next instead of taking a step back and saying, okay, before I build something else, do I want to build it the same way that this other thing was built before? Right. And I had that experience with my business. So I'm going to be sharing that. So glad you guys were able to see. And if you guys are watching this later and you have questions about that, feel free to, message me in the comments and we can chat. All right. What systems did I put in place to support my dreams? What systems do I need to put in place to support my dreams? Or what systems did I put in place to support my dreams? This is a really great question. Me and Adrian were talking about this earlier this week, and even I think earlier today. Understanding that, especially if you are a builder, which builders are one of my archetypes for my rest assessment, which I can't give y'all too much about that right now, but it's one of my archetypes. And one of the things that I've said about builders is that builders are really great at building things, but they're not as great as it living in the thing that they built. And systems help you to do that. You should be able to wake up later in the morning if that's what you want to do and it's not going to affect your business. You should be able to take a 30, 60, 90-day break off of social media and not feel like you're going to lose business. And so being able to understand what systems you need to have in place in order for those things to happen is really important. So that's what we're going to put for our fourth question. If you're just coming in, we're doing my end of month reflection. These are reflection questions that I go through at the end of every single month, and they are in my Freedom and Flow planner. I'll drop the link to that in the chat. So for me, systems that I need to put in place, I told y'all that biweekly cleaning that needs to be happening. I will say I want to tighten up my onboarding for my leadership intensives because I have an onboarding process, but just because I am building to last, not just building for what works. And I understand progress over perfection, right? You do need to get started before you start trying to make improvements. You don't move into a house and start making renovations immediately. But because I do have the time right now, I do want to make sure my onboarding is really smooth because as y'all saw on my screen share, my rest intensives are a premium offer, and I want people to feel like they're getting a premium experience. So I want to make sure that that is fine tuned. I also want to do that so that I'm not like clunking behind the scenes trying to make sure things are talking to each. No, we're not doing that. I told y'all I got 4 kids. I'm not trying to be on nobody's laptop unnecessarily, and I certainly am not trying to have nobody messaging me on a Slack or emailing me in the middle of the night talking about, hey, I don't see the access to my dashboard. So I'm tightening all of that up right now. Let's see. And if anyone's curious, like I said it earlier, but I will repeat it. I used Claude and I used Lovable to make that dashboard, that goals dashboard. All right, we have a couple questions left. The next one says, how do I feel about the way I'm showing up for myself, my friends, and my family? How do I feel about the way I'm showing up for myself, my friends, and my family? I think this month being March, because this is the end of month reflection. So I think in the month of March, especially like the middle towards the end, I just felt very present with myself. And that's not something that I will have always, that's not something I could have said always, right? In the past, I used to avoid being alone with myself because I just felt like it wasn't a safe space. And if you're on my Substack, you may know that I talked about this on my Substack, but I feel at home in my body. And I think that that is an extreme gift. Now, what I will say is over this last week, I have not been eating the way that I wanted to eat because I haven't just taken the time to be intentional with that. Like, I've been eating a lot of leftovers. People will send me home with food because they know how many children we have. They're like, hey, we got leftovers. Here, take that. And it's fine. And I love that people share. But even my husband said this earlier today because he ate some soup that I made. And he's not really like a big soup dude in terms of soup that I make. Now, anything he makes, he loves it. But with me, he's pickier with my food. And so I say, you're eating something that I cooked, a soup that I cooked. And he said, I'm just tired of having snacks. And genuinely, that it was a great way to summarize what this last week has been. I think between spring break, traveling, I had back to back speaking engagements last week, like just so many different things that it's like, okay, wait, have we had a vegetable? What's the last? And I will say we're pretty good about fruit, keeping fruit around, but for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because it has to be cooked, but the vegetables just don't be hitting the same. I'd be like, a vegetable. So I did get groceries delivered. That's one of my systems. I did get groceries delivered tonight. And I plan on having like a vegetable omelet tomorrow, or just probably a scramble because I still haven't mastered the omelet yet. Adrian said, girl, these kids had me eating at Chipotle tonight. No bueno. So I'm with you. Right. Oh, wow. Yeah. Snacks is meals. And the thing is, Jordan is such a snacker, and my daughter is a snacker, and my youngest son is a snacker. And I'm usually the one who's like, we need a meal, we need a protein, we need a vegetable, we need sides. But this past week, I've been like, get it how you live it, bro. Do you? I'm just a girl. I'm one person. So that would probably be the one area that I feel like I need to show up a little bit differently for myself. But I will say that's been the last week, and like as far as the month of March, I feel like I did a great job. Especially I got some new clothes in March. Your girl was feeling cute. Oh, we were layering, we were doing things. So yeah, the nutrition though. The nutrition. I will also say something that I've noticed is how important it is to move my body even if I'm not going to the gym. Because sometimes we're like, oh, I didn't go to the gym today. Baby, you got a computer, you got weights. You can put them sweatpants on that you work out in. You can put them on right at the house. You can turn on a Grow with Joe YouTube video and you can get it in. And even now that I'm saying that, I'm like, am I about to do a 20-minute workout before I go to bed? Might, because I love the way I feel when I work out. I feel strong. I feel like I am depositing into myself. And that is something that I did not do. Grow with Joe. Ooh, let me put you on, girl. Let me put you on, girl. Okay, Grow with Joe. Her channel is, let me see. Her channel is Grow with Joe. That's the name of it. But what I love about her is she is somebody who is just very transparent. She will do exercises with the kids in the back. She has 3 kids. She also was a 3-time C-section mom, which I didn't even know that until much later in her journey. But I said, oh my gosh, girl. Because sometimes you can feel like, well, no, I can't get fit like that because I had a C-section. Yes. I don't know what her full name is, but that's what her channel is. So love her stuff. She has walking videos. She has dance videos. I like her. She did like a 90s dance thing back when she used to be in an apartment. Now she's in this big mansion looking house, but it's fun. It's fun. And I will say, if you are, whether you're a parent or not, if you got people who be stressing you out, her workouts are really great too, because they are very much feel good workouts. And I know your body releases endorphins just because you're working out, just because you're moving your body. But I also feel like her personality is nice. I will also say something else I like, and hope this don't sound bad, is she don't be talking on her workouts. She don't talk. The music is the focus. So you'll even see, like, I think she actually puts music over the video after she has recorded it, because you'll see her moving her mouth, but she don't say nothing. And I'm like, yes, because sometimes, and my friends know this, Adrian being one of them, sometimes I don't even want to hear my own voice. So why would I want to hear yours? Love you, respectfully, but like, mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. So I like being able to get on there with her, do a little She talks at the end. She'll say, good job, you did that. Or she'll do an intro at the beginning. And to be honest, a lot of times I will fast forward past the intro, but she does do an intro to like, hey, this is what we're going to do today. It's going to be fun. Take care of yourself. You're worth the investment. You go, girl. So yeah, share that in the chat for anyone who is looking to still take care of yourself, even if you don't go to the gym. And gas is expensive, so you might not be going to the gym just because you like, child. It costs $85.98 to fill up my tank, so I'm gonna be at the house. But you can still move your body. So that's my action step, a way I'm going to show up better for myself. What's one step I can take today to bridge the gap between what I desire and my reality? That's the next question. Hmm. I think continuing to show up in community. Because when I tell you community is a superpower, man, like how deep I want to get with this. But in my book, The Black Girl's Guide to Living on Purpose, I write about how I struggled with suicidal ideations when I was a teenager. And a lot of that was isolation. And then the one friend I had, and I am not exaggerating when I say one, the one friend that I had was verbally abusive, which is so interesting because I didn't realize that at the time because I was a kid. But yeah, she was verbally abusive. And so I kind of got accustomed to that and just acted like that was normal, even though it was not, and was not healthy. And then when I went off to college, I experienced healthy friendships for the first time. And I was like, oh my gosh, is this what this should feel like? Crazy. But I'm sure a lot of us can resonate with the fact that once you're an adult, it is hard to make friends. And then once you have children, it can be hard to make friends, especially friends that are not necessarily directly connected to your children. So it's like, okay, if they weren't here, would we still hang out? I don't know, because you have some habits that I don't really like, but I'd be putting up with them for the kids. But if the kids aren't here, ooh, are we still going to hang? Don't know. Not sure. Probably not. Right. But I've been incredibly blessed. And that's why I will never regret the former business that I had, because I remember one day asking God, I was like, bro, if I was going to close this business down, what was the point? And when I tell you, he said, everybody you know, because you started this business, like the people you are in tight community with, he was like, how many of them would you know if you hadn't been a business owner? And I couldn't think of one. I could not think of one person. And so I'm grateful because this brought me into community with people like Adrian, people like our friend Ove, people like our friend Darlene. It's put me in the group, like the group chat, where now we out here, we making dashboards and we're using AI and we're fancy, right? Like, it's created the community I even have with my Bible study. I do a Wednesday Bible study with women, and a lot of the women in there are business owners. Like, bruh, it's just top tier. It's top tier. And yes, I've just released myself of that, Adrian. I'm like, you know what? It's fine if our kids are friends, and we don't have to be friends though. Just text me when they on the way back, so I know to look for them in the driveway. But we don't have to be cool. Be cool enough for me to know things about you and be comfortable with my children being with you. But we don't have to. I have friends, and not love you, but I have people. I got a good thing going on over here, so I'm not gonna really mess with that. Okay, pumpkin. Love you so much. So yeah, one step I can take today would be continuing to show up in community. I also just get so much joy, not just from like being in a space and be like, this is what I'm working on, what y'all working, like how good is it? But hearing what people are working on and then helping them with it. It's I think that's the creative nature in me. I think it's the solutions oriented nature in me. I think it's the planner in me. I'm like, yes, let's plan. Let's do planning. Let's co-work. So that's a big thing. The next one says, this is the last question. What goals did I have at the beginning of the month that now feel misaligned with where I'm heading? What goals did I have at the beginning of the month that now feel misaligned with where I'm heading? This is typically the question that leads me to go back and be like, what did I say? And because I look at my planner every single day, I'm typically not just so far off. But yeah. So in the month of February, or from February's reflection, I said, my goals are still the same: prioritize writing, continue cultivating community, talk about my Rest Well program, and get paid to speak. It's cool to see how last month I said I need to get out of the house more, and I did that in February. So I think I'm gonna put that too. Like, my goals are still the same. I was commenting on on someone's LinkedIn post today because she was talking about just that itch you get, and I don't know what that is. I'm like, is that a form of self-sabotage? But that itch you get when things are working really well, and then you start being like, "Ooh, I should make this. I should do this. I should go there. I should." Ma'am, the quote that has helped me that I hope will free you on this evening is, "Do fewer things better. Do fewer things better. Do fewer things better." When we are constantly adding goals that are not even aligned with anything, we're just saying stuff because that's the goal that someone else set, because we got an email and someone was mentioning this, because someone invited us into this program that's completely disconnected from anything we're building. We exhaust ourselves. And then instead of making progress in one direction, we have a little progress over here, got a little progress over here. So if you think of it being on a rank from 1 to 10, so you got a 2 in this area, you got a 4 in this area, you got a 5 in this area, instead of just locking in and getting to a 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know. That's big. But just strong, feeling strong in your things. And that's why, if y'all saw on my goal dashboard, I put the offer clarity is the number one thing. So I'm like, if I can't even talk about what it is that I offer in a clear way, where people say, oh, that's something I want, then what am I doing? Babbling. That's what I'm doing. So I will say my goals are still the same. Now, fun thing about my planner is at the end of the month, there are also these boxes where you can put photos, or you can put maybe a ticket stub from something that you saw. You can put clip of a airplane ticket. I mean, it would be a very small clip. You see, it's not that much space, okay? But just something that can help you to remember the month. And this came from last year. I made a project to create a virtual scrapbook of my year, because with things being as rough as they were a couple years prior, I realized I said, I felt like I had had a bad year, and I realized I just had had a bad couple of months. This was in 2023 when I had the back-to-back miscarriages. I'm like, actually, when I look at the year, it was actually a really good year. But that showed me the importance of chronicling what was happening in a particular season, because writing those things down, putting pictures with it, was a great way to revisit those times. And I tell people so often, and a lot of people know, I'm just on LinkedIn. I'm not even on Instagram. YouTube is even new for me in terms of being back on this space. I don't know if I'll ever go back to Instagram, but we can spend so much time looking at other people's lives and we glamorize them. And I feel like me making a scrapbook for the end of every month, and even looking at photo albums on my phone, helped me to glamorize my own life and really fall in love with it. So that's why I have these here. So that is my end of month reflection, y'all. As I shared, I'm probably going to do a separate video where I'm going to set up the month of April. I know we're a few days into April, but I already told y'all how this last week went. I was just eating random foods. I wasn't exercising. So here we are. But that is my end of month reflections. The point of taking this time, as I said earlier, is really assessing what is already working. We don't have to start from scratch. You don't have to get it out the mud, baby. You could get it off the store shelf. You could get it already prepackaged and ready to go just for you. Okay? So the reflection questions are designed for that, but they're also designed for you to be able to see the progress that you're making. I put at the beginning, I want to say in February, I don't want to have this social media client anymore, because I keep saying I want to be a full-time writer and speaker, but I'm over here playing still. So it's like, do I even believe that I can do that full time? And it's interesting. I took my last payment from that client in February, and March was a great month. And April looks like it's going to be even better because I made room. So this is really about making room for what it is that you want to do next. And again, if this was your vibe, definitely join me at the Rhythm Reset. I'll drop a link to that one more time in the chat. It's going to be on Sunday, April 26th from 3 to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to have a journaling component. We're also going to have a goal setting time. I'm even thinking about like matching people up for accountability partners, because like I said, I understand the value of community. So if that sounds like it's your jam, definitely check out that link. There is an option for you to just get the Rhythm Reset, or you can get a registration along with the 4-month planner. That's my personal recommendation, not just because it's like, ooh, my planners are wonderful, which they are. I use mine every day. Sometimes I trip over the fact, like, I made this. This is not just mine and that I own it. I really designed this. That's cool. But I truly think that you can get the most out of that experience, because especially once we get to that goal setting phase of the experience, you'll be able to write out your goals in your planner, instead of being like, okay, let me get some sticky notes over here. Let me get some index cards. Clearly I have both, but this planner is very comprehensive, and it's also fun. If you weren't on here earlier, I have word searches in here. I'm trying to find one. I have word searches in here. I have coloring sheets. When we were heading back from spring break, my husband was driving, and I said, oh, I can color. And I pulled out my planner and started coloring. But yeah, this is one of the crosswords. Every month is something different. They have different themes. So definitely check that out. If you are not available for the Rhythm Reset, but you want to get a planner, you can go to briannalightfootsmith.com/flow. I already put the link in the chat for that. If you have any questions about the planner, about the Rhythm Reset, please let me know. You can either comment under this video, or you can go over and hang out with me on LinkedIn. I am very active over there. But it's still not how it was with Instagram, where I was constantly obsessing and wondering, like, am I doing enough? Am I good enough? Is this edited to the T? Like, I just show up as me. And I think the thing I love about it is that I can just really highlight my writing. Because LinkedIn, and I hope that they never change this, but LinkedIn, they like, baby, we don't care what picture you put with this. We're gonna focus on the thoughts. You could put a picture of your big toe. And somebody probably would like that. But people are gonna focus on the words, right? So I love that. So I just put a link to my LinkedIn there. I think that is it. If anyone has any questions, hit me up. I look forward to hopefully seeing you at the Rhythm Reset. And I look forward to seeing your name pop up on the registration list because listen, we are getting together in 2026. We are moving with rhythm, we are moving with alignment, and we are living and leading from overflow and not exhaustion. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Thanks for coming, Adrian and Lindsay. Everybody, I love you guys so much. Bye.